Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gifted Since 92, giving you guys the latest and exclusive content on new music, entertainment news, and inspirational quotes by me, the Queen's back at again. Alright, so this is going to be a long video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, and you guys know my platform, you know how I do things around here. So I love music. So I know I've talked about this numerous of times, but like I said, I want to speak about this again, but I will get more into detail and more specific and give you guys perfect examples of how, when it comes to celebrating music and celebrating the art and really supporting artists, and especially the black artists in music period, because so far I have heard so many dope records from a variety of like artists, and they're just doing it, they're just bringing it, they're slaying. And I really love that, you know, just listening to like new sounds and new productions and new elements. And I like that what I'm hearing so far. I'm so excited because I want to save up and buy some more albums in the future. So with that being said, here is my honest opinions. And I might ruffle some feathers, but it's okay. It is what it is. So this is going to be a rant, but I will stay neutral about this, because here's the thing. Now, people who've always have said about like black talented artists getting the recognition, getting like the success as everyone else. So my thing, if we want to make this happen, we need to buy the music. Now, I buy music, I buy CDs every now and then, and especially for artists that I grew up listening to, and like even new artists come in the game too. But for people to say that they want to see black artists winning music, good talented artists, the thing is, buying the music is the main thing. Buying albums, buying CDs, buying streaming the music, like I said, save up, because I know that some people, they say they want to see more talent win, they want to see more talent shine, and it is what, and I do agree, because especially for these new upcoming artists, they do remind me of like the artists that came out in the early 2000s, the 1990s, the 80s and 70s and 60s, but they pretty much are bringing back like that soul and R&B and pop music and that nostalgia, where when I was growing up, I basically grew up like in the 90s music and like in the early 2000s music, because I was born in 92. So I mostly grew up listening to like even the 70s music in my household, the 80s music in my household, the 60s music in my household. So with that being said, I'm going to bring the topic of, let's let these artists be themselves. And here's the thing I have an issue with, especially with the black artists. They catch a lot of hell nowadays, and this isn't the first time, and this pretty much isn't like, you know, but this has been going on for years, where people, they expect for these black artists to make a certain kind of sound or a certain vibe of music, but at the same time, the same people that say, well, we want something new and different, edgy, well, you know, we're tired of hearing the same old on the mainstream radio. Okay, and then when the artists that do put out good music, when they actually do, you know, experiment with their sound, they're like singers, songwriters, producers, rappers, you know, you name it, you know, they can do it all. And when they have put in that work and they have created a sound that really solidified their artistry, those same people that say, well, we want to hear more music, more diversity and talent, okay, they'll turn around, some of them, not all of them, I said some, I'm talking about some people, because I don't want people coming on my channel and be like, you know, no, I'm saying some, because they'll say, okay, we want this and that, but then turn around, get the bashing on these artists, always comparing them to other artists, always bashing their music. I mean, heck, you don't even have to like all of their music. You don't even have to, like I said, if you like some of their music, that's all that matters. If you like some of an artist's music, that's all it matters. Because really, there may be some records that you've heard before that you didn't like, or at first you did like some of the records they put out, but then when they put out new music, some records you may not be feeling. And it is what it is. It's the same with me. Like, I give people a chance because, like I said, I know that music is universal, but I really love seeing how these artists are able to express themselves and really create really good like sounds, and don't be afraid to put themselves outside of the box. And here's the thing, especially when people say nowadays, when we get so overcritical of like black artists, being able to just say, you know what, I'm gonna try something different with my music, I'm gonna try this sound, I'm gonna do this, let me incorporate another sound that can help with my sound to improve. This has happened before. Like, we even had the great black artists that really, dominated music, really changed the narrative, made some really timeless hits, some timeless classics, and the same thing can be passed on after generation after generation. And this is another thing I've noticed that I didn't like. I've even have talked with some people, like my mutuals on social media, of how like they support good music from different artists, how they like their sound no matter who they are. And listen, if you make good music, no matter who you are, you get my support, period. And really, it's like music should be quality, it should have meaning, fun, catchy, and we can have a little bit of everything. But I've noticed that there's a pattern of how people have tried to overlook certain artists because, the music industry's so-called standards, and I have been seeing other artists even before this generation, or even for years, they have spoke out their experiences in the music industry, that they have been, overlooked, they've been mistreated because of what they look like. People did not want to take an opportunity to work with them, or they didn't want to believe in their art. And they, like I said, when the music industry is like the standard, the image of like looking a certain way to appeal to the masses of music, right? So for people who don't fit that standard, or for people who don't really, have a certain swag or a certain, I don't know what's the new word, they just don't have like that it factor. Oh gosh, people love to say they don't have that it factor. Okay, even though an artist is talented, or artists are talented, because they don't have that it factor, because it's like, oh well, they're not good enough to be great artists. The answer is no, that's not the case. There are plenty of factors of, things that go on behind the scenes that, like I said, like with colorism, discrimination, misogyny, all that stuff. But see, the thing is too, I've noticed that even with people complaining about like the lack of diversity in music, okay, it's more than just talking about it on social media. It's more than just talking about it, and it's okay. Like I said, I love YouTube because it's a platform for people to connect with others, see other people's opinions, see different perspectives, and it's all good. But behind the scenes, when you're off of social media, you gotta put in the work, you gotta buy the music. If you love music, and especially you say you love certain artists, that you love their music, and their music takes you to another place, and it's all that great stuff, then save up and buy an album. Save up and buy an album, just like you save up and buy every other thing. And I know CDs nowadays, they cost like $10, and probably less than that. I know on Amazon, I order my CDs sometimes, because even like the older CDs of like the artists that I grew up with, like the older generation, like those CDs, I go on there, Amazon Music, Goodwill. I bought some CDs from Goodwill. It's a thrift store, but they sell like music, like they sell all kinds of music, so you can get a really good deal, a budget, and for your CD collection. Of course, we got like Target, Best Buy, Walmart. CDs, or you can always find CDs. But the thing that I even have noticed, because I get so inspired watching my other YouTubers, how they talk about music, and how they reminisce like their favorite artists, you know, growing up buying the posters and buying the CDs. It's like, and I remember as a little girl, I did the same thing. My first CD that I purchased when I was 8 years old for my birthday, Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige is one of my favorite artists of all time, period. I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan. You can't tell me a damn thing. I love the queen of hip hop and soul. I was so into Mary J. Blige ever since she said something about family affair and, you know, real love and, you know, happy and all that good stuff. I said I'm a Mary J. Blige fan to the day. I mean, you can't tell me nothing. So I have most of the Mary J. Blige CDs, and I will buy some more in the future. But it's just a perfect example of an artist that I loved and that she really touched my heart and soul and that I connected with at such a young age. Like, I was 8 years old. Like, an 8-year-old loved Mary J. Blige. Like, who doesn't love Mary J. Blige? But it goes to show you, like, the power of her music, her inspiration, a force to be reckoned with, her impact in music, period. You know, she really touched lives with her music. So it's like, buying a CD can help. It can help benefit because I have so much empathy for these artists that really go through a lot in this music industry. All the stories, like, you know, even on like the behind the music, like VH1 documentaries, because I watch that a lot too. And there's this series called Unsung. It's on TV1. If you guys know of that, they're pretty much like stories and documentaries of like artists from like the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. They go back, even the greats, even the legends and pioneers, because it's like with this generation of music, I like some of it, but I don't really think that it's like today's music, especially in the mainstream, I don't really like it as much because it's the same thing. And what I mean by that is, like, I know this trap movement, this trap R&B and hip hop sound, it has really taken over. It really took over for a couple of years. I like some of the music, but I like more like that soul nostalgia, something different, something edgy. And even some artists, they have gone on to the trend. And listen, I'm not saying trap music is bad, because it's not bad. There are some pretty dope trap music out there, like the production, the beats. But when it comes to like production nowadays, it's the same thing. You know, it's like the same pattern, it's the same, you know, content. It really, you know, especially with these artists nowadays, it's kind of like it's repetitive. So I need something different. So even speaking of like new artists really changing the game and really making good music, I will talk about some artists that have really caught my attention, I would say within the last 10 years. So let's get into it. So I would say right off, SZA. I'm a huge SZA fan. I love SZA. I finally got her Control album. SZA is one of these dope artists where it's like, her debut album, she's bringing back like that soul and R&B and more of like that experimental R&B, and even her music is like poetic. It's very like liberation, empowerment, her experiences in life, and I like that. What I love about her is like she's a free-spirited person, and her artistry, her music brings a lot of like that, I would say, early 2000s R&B soul music, but she also infused her sound with like pop, alternative, and rock, a little bit of soft rock music. So we can't, it's like with SZA, I feel like when she like broke out a few years ago around 2017, and she, like I said before, she was underground for a couple years until she blew up. I know my other favorite artist, Kendrick Lamar, Top Dog Entertainment, like I said, she, you know, she's associated with him and the rest of the crew. So it was really cool to see, especially another female black talented artist where she was new, she had something different, edgy, the aesthetic, the appeal, you know, authentic, beautiful. And I like how with her music, she kind of brings more like that eclectic, like mystiqueness jazzy feel vibe. It's like with her voice, her singing. She has a beautiful voice because it's like sultry, it's raspy, but at the same time, it's like angelic too. And I love how she's very like, she has a good ear of music. And just listen to this entire Control album. I mean, really, she really broke, like, she really took the world by storm with her debut album. And like I said, especially for artists that really like lived up to the standards of like music, and especially like when their debut album really like takes the world by storm, and like a lot of people are into the music and it's just something new and different. SZA did a really great job with like the producers that she worked with to really create a sound that was her, that was very authentic. Like the songs like Love Galore, The Weekend, Broken Clocks, those songs pretty much like she really brought back like that 90s R&B soul and vibe. And I would say she brought back like that real like dark, moody, alternative R&B. And she reminds me of some artists that really like how they had created a sound where it was very different and new and unique. And her influences, she has a lot of influences that she grew up with to listen to, because she reminded me like the sound how she brought back to the table Aaliyah. Y'all know I'm an Aaliyah fan. Shout out to hashtag Team Aaliyah, you know how I roll. So with that being said, Aaliyah could see, and here's the thing, as an Aaliyah fan, I don't take no prisoners either. And I'm so glad I mentioned Aaliyah, because I'm going to mention Aaliyah because Aaliyah, with her sound and her vibe, Aaliyah is pretty much a pioneer of like the R&B, soul, moody, alternative, like that hip hop element of like the nostalgia that she brought to the table with her music. And then working with like the great hit making producers, Missy Elliott and Timbaland, like that sound that Ali was able to really shift an entire sound in music. Same thing with Missy Elliott and same thing with Timbaland. They all really brought back like that sound of like R&B music, and it was a sound that was never heard before. And really, Aaliyah, like I said, people love to come at Aaliyah, they love to come at Baby Girl. Baby Girl got troubles for days, but whatever, you know. Team Aaliyah, we will go in on that, you know what. But it's like, that's how I felt the same way for SZA, because I feel like SZA, she really brought back like that nostalgia, R&B, hip hop, soul, and jazz music. So she was really like so into like that like aesthetic, and she's pretty much like a down-to-earth artist. She makes good music. I'm so excited for her sophomore album because it's been a minute since we've heard from SZA. But I know I promoted the song she put out with Justin Timberlake. I did a review on that. The name of the song is called The Other Side. Something called like The Other Side. See You on the Other Side. It's a pretty dope song. I love it. You know, they both slayed. They brought back like that R&B pop nostalgia, disco, dance kind of music feeling. So I feel like SZA and Justin Timberlake, both of their artistry, they really, you know, meshed very well together. And this is what I love about music. You know, music don't have to just be one way or one direction. But this is why I've noticed like how some people, even some critics, you know, I feel like just hearing different opinions and seeing different opinions, it's like artists that really take the time to create their own craft and their music, we should allow them to do that as long as the music has quality, as long as the music's pretty good, as long as they're not afraid to express themselves and just make the music where they feel. You know, it's like that feeling, you know, and that soul that really today, like today's music, we're missing a lot of that like creative, like soul, like quality of music. Because, and I understand when it comes to R&B music, you know, how before it has dominated, before it did dominate throughout like all the decades, but then for a while it started, you know, R&B artists have struggled too, trying to like recreate a new sound, or they try to like, you know, follow the trends and all of that. But I feel like R&B is coming back. I really feel like and truly believe that it is coming back, because there are pretty much other R&B and soul artists that really have put in the work, put out some good music. Who else? Oh, Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox. I need to get her album, Shea Butter Baby. Ari Lennox is another artist that's a breath of fresh air. Signed J. Cole, Dreamville. I'm a huge J. Cole fan too, so duh. But I like how Ari Lennox, she really brought that like that soul R&B sound, and that you know, she's another talented artist. Like, her voice is beautiful. Like, she can sing. Ari Lennox can sing. She has more like that 70s kind of like sound, and like the 90s sound, and like a little bit of everything, 2000s. But she brought that, like that real feel good music, like even from a last generation, older generations, like they can even listen to her music like, oh, okay, you know, oh, she's bringing a little bit of like that music that I grew up with. But even though she's like from the new generation, she does her thing music, but it's like the best of both worlds. It's like you're bringing older generation and new generation together, and you know, you just combine it. And I feel like Ari Lennox, I want her to continue to make good music. She's underrated too, and like I said, you know, I want her to continue to experiment, you know, and be able to like really bring back like that real feel good music. Another artist, well, both of them, Chloe and Halle. Chloe and Halle are really slaying right now. I wasn't a huge fan of Chloe and Halle. I mean, I did like their music, but I was waiting to see, like, not that, like I said, I always have supported them, but I was like, okay, their first album, the kids are all right. I heard that album, I was like, okay, cool, because their sound with Beyonce, and I'm a Beyonce fan too. And I like how their debut album really brought them into like an introduction of who they are as artists, because they were underground, independent. They put out a couple of mixtapes, a couple of EPs, but I like how listening to the kids are all right. They really had more like that like R&B pop nostalgia sound and alternative. And their voices, they can sing. They're young, they're talented, but they have a good ear of music. So listening to the debut album, I was really blown away by like the production, the sound, the artistry, just seeing how they were able at such a young age, you know, that their talent spoke for itself. And also they write their music, they play instruments, they produce their music. So it's like, that's a plus, because artists, like, no matter if you're young, you know, you're able to have that gift in music, you should go for it. You know, you should start writing your own songs, get into like, you know, producing, all of that great stuff, because this is what makes artists really, especially when it comes to developing their own sound, developing their own lane, their own niche. They are pretty much are developing, like, it's like a process. It's like they're being prepared for like what they can do, and it takes a while for these artists to really get into the creative zone and the creative process, because it's not, you know, a walk in the park, but at the same time it doesn't come overnight. That's why people, like I say, you just gotta stay consistent. But Chloe and Halle, like, I'm a fan of them. I mean, I'm so excited for their sophomore album, Ungodly Hour, that's supposed to be coming out this Friday, June 12th. So I'll definitely be saving up, and I will buy The Kids Are Alright, and I will buy Ungodly Hour, because I like buying albums like first, second, in sequence, because that way it'll show me, oh, they've shown growth, you know, from the first album, how they were so creative with the first album. Now with this second album, they're showing like a more of experimental and more like a progression, and it's a really like a stepping stone from like they're leveling up from the last album, their debut album. Now this song Do It is my jam. Let me tell you something. This song Do It is so good, to the point where it's like when you listen to the song, like out of nowhere they came out with this song. So they released this song a couple weeks ago, and I was like, the first time I heard this song, I was like, oh really? So they pretty much, with this song Do It, is popping right now. It's like all over the airplay. It's and really Chloe and Halle, their artistry as a group, as a duo, they pretty much are bringing back like girl groups back too, because they are, you know, a duo, they're a girl group. So for them to have that high caliber of talent, and for them to really have a really good ear of music, knowing where like the production, their sound, and having that confidence and that badass and just that unique sex appeal, it's like they're pretty much like, they remind me of like how just artists that had like that authentic, you know, they're not manufactured, they're not gimmicks. And this really what I'll talk about a little bit later in my video, because Chloe and Halle definitely are like on the rise to become the new face of like R&B music, not just R&B music, but music in general, because I hate putting black artists in the box. Because when it comes to music for black artists, there have been the greats like Michael Jackson, Prince, Janet Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind & Fire, Mariah Carey, Brandy, Whitney Houston, you know, the list goes on, Marvin Gaye. And I'm giving you guys perfect examples of this because, oh yeah, and Rick James. I gotta put Rick James in there, because all these artists, like, especially when they create a sound where it was like each album they progressed, they grew with their fans, they experimented with their music, and really people just appreciate the music during their generation, especially where it was like music was just the main fuel of like everything that was going on. But people really embrace different artists, different sounds, a little bit of everything. So now the same thing is happening. And I feel like Chloe and Halle are pretty much breaking barriers right now. They're breaking barriers. It's like for a girl group, you know, because like I said, we don't see many girl groups out there. We don't see many of them. Same thing, I promote June's Diary. I love June's Diary. I can't wait for their music. Good Girl, I can't wait for their music. So it's like, this is why I'm saying, like, to see like more artists coming in and really change the narrative, and really, like I said, their music speaks for itself. You know, it's kind of like, wow, this is really refreshing. And their sound is like R&B, pop, nostalgia, funk, blues, and jazz. And for them to be mentored by Beyonce, you guys know I'm a Beyonce fan. And one thing I really love about Beyonce, because Beyonce also, she knows from her experiences, like Chloe and Halle, she knew what was up. She knew of their talent, and I'm glad that Chloe and Halle, you know, they had the opportunity to work with someone who had experience, been in the music game for a long time, and really, like I said, you know, it's like she mentored them in a good way, and like and other people too. But it's like Beyonce saw the young. It was almost like when somebody like older. What does that mean? Like it's like when somebody that has experience, have had experience, like they, you know, see you coming up, and it's like, oh, they're talented, they doing anything. I remember when I was talented, I did my thing. And it's like Beyonce is a perfect example of like, she's a student of like music too, you know, because she came from a girl group. And
when you go out the mall, take the garbage.
Okay. Yeah, she's a student of the game, so it's kind of like for people to see like people coming up and they say, okay, these people right now, it's kind of like in the way Beyonce really embraced them, and she saw how talented they are. So with that being said, I think that Chloe and Halle, they pretty much are like doing the thing and slinging out here. And what I love about them too is like listening to their music. It's kind of like, it's more like I would describe their music as more like that. That aura of their sound has so many different sounds, different elements, but they're bringing back like that real, like the essence of music, more of like that essence of like it's just feel good music. But with that being said, Chloe and Halle, they're pretty much, like I said, I like that, there's something new and fresh right now, and this is why they're a perfect example, especially with people saying like they want something new and something fresh and edgy. They're definitely going to be around for a long time. I can see. I think they are pretty much the music that they're making right now. Years from now, I think they're going to be around for a long time because they're just that natural talent and that gift. They got it. Who else? Other artists that really have caught my attention. Khalid, dope artist. I like his sound. I like his music. One is pretty much like the male, refreshing male artists that have came out too. Because Khalid, pretty much, his sound, his direction, him being authentic, him really just doing something different with his music. He's more like R&B, pop, alternative, nostalgia, what else? Rock. And his first two albums, Teen American Dream, his debut album came out a couple years ago, and then he put out his sophomore album last year, and I can't remember the name of the title right now, but I know he came out with like a new album last year. But he's another one. He's another artist that really caught my attention too, because like his sound, his tone, his voice, he can sing, and he's pretty much, like I said, very, very rare. He caught my attention too. So it's like, even for the male artists nowadays, I mean, as new right now, Khalid, who else? A lot of people. Ro James, I gotta get into his music. Ro James, who else? I don't know. If you guys please let me know down below, because see, R&B male artists right now, I need to hear some fresh new faces in music too. Because, and I did my what happened to R&B series, the male R&B artists, and what do I expect in the future. Because here's the thing, it's kind of like there are plenty of talented people, that male or female, that they have a good ear of music. So it's kind of like people right now, the way how this music climate is changing and the way how this music climate is shifting, I feel like that right now new artists are going to be on the rise. And I really like that, listening to artists like Khalid, Chloe and Halle, Cesar R. Lennox, to name a few. They definitely have really like broke barriers in music so far, and I want for them to continue to do that. And I really like that people are paying attention to them, catching on to their music, and really, like I said, they're doing their thing. Who else?
Lizzo. Lizzo's another artist. She's been doing her thing. I love her music. I gotta get her album too. So those are the few the name artists that really caught my attention as far as black artists. Really caught my attention. I was like, okay, cool. They're doing something really dope with their music. So let's get into as far as people, like I said, wanting to see like these artists winning music. I've always have said buy the music, but then at the same time, we should just focus on just what kind of music they're putting out now, and just go from there. I really do like that people, like I said, they're talking about how like, missing the days of like when we have a lot of like diversity in music and have a lot of diversity in like the sound, giving new artists a chance to shine, and just being able to really see more great artists coming in the game too, because like I said, this mainstream music, I don't really like it as much. I really don't. Reasons because I feel like it's so oversaturated to the point where it's kind of like it's the same thing. And really trap music, like the mumble rap music has really taken away too much of like their artistry, and I kind of feel like listening to that mumble music, that mumble trap music, is kind of like that's what's popping right now, and then people, they are missing like more hip hop, R&B sounds, nostalgia, a little bit of everything. I do feel like new artists will emerge one day too, because I like that now people, they'll be able to just like, it's kind of like, it takes a minute for like these artists to really get themselves out there. Like even the stories of like Missy Elliott, perfect example. Missy Elliott, Timbaland, they changed the game, changed the narrative with their music and all that great stuff, because it sounded like that's why Missy Elliott in particular, I have to be honest, I did paint Missy Elliott by the way too. Missy Elliott is one of these artists like there will never be another Missy Elliott, period. What I love about her too growing up, because she had so much of like that real sound. It was kind of like her sound was so like ahead of its time. You could never put her in a box. And it's kind of like putting her in the box. That's why she broke barriers in music, and especially in female hip hop and R&B music too, because she also produced a lot of like artists, music, and helped them with their music careers as well. She's of course a singer, a songwriter, a producer, but Missy Elliott definitely, I'll always mention her, because it's like she really like, she just had like that real natural talented gift where it was like she was able to work with other people to share her gift to and work with them and be like, oh, okay, we'll create something different and edgy. Same thing with Timbaland. He did the same thing with his music, with his art, and I feel like listening to like the throwbacks, the classics of music, of R&B, hip hop, it's like both of them, they helped Aaliyah's career. They really helped her career too, because after Aaliyah's debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, while she was working on her sophomore album, she was trying to find like a new sound, and she was going through some things too in the music business too, because all that drama and all that BS that was going on. But like I said, when she started to work with Missy Elliott and Timbaland, it was like a match made in heaven, because the sound that Missy and Timbaland brought back to the table, it was out of this world. It's almost like geniuses, like scientists, like creating a new sound, a new formula. And this is what issue I have with like nowadays in mainstream music. It's kind of like it's the same thing over and over. And I know that there are producers, underground producers, independent producers, like they make a sound that's so like new and very eccentric, and really
put in a lot of time making sure like their sound is like it's organic, and it's not like what you hear on mainstream radio, because mainstream radio and music, you know, it's kind of like I don't really care for like today's music anyway, not today's majority of music, because it's like only some artists that have that talent that I really do like, and I like their music, but overall it's just the same thing. And even when I was growing up, I grew up like in the early 2000s where we had like 106 and Park, TRL, those music platforms, and same thing with Soul Train Awards. Those music platforms need to come back. They need to be brought back, period, ASAP, because those music platforms really changed the shift narrative in music and helped a lot of like these like really talented artists coming into the music to promote their music, and to like really express their art. And I would be watching as a little girl like 106 and Park, BET's Top 10 Live. That will always be a part of my childhood, everyone's childhood that who really loved music. Same thing with TRL, like the countdowns, and seeing how these artists were able to really come into their own and take the world by storm and really promote their music, especially when they had like album campaigns, especially when the fans went out and bought the music, and all that stuff needs to still be going on to this day, because I feel like now, yeah, we have social media, yeah, we have Instagram, yeah, we have Twitter, yeah, we have Snapchat, yeah, we have YouTube, yes, we have those things, and those things are cool. They do help these artists a lot, but thing that I have noticed, what I don't like, is people can have their opinions. People don't have to like certain artists, people don't have to like the music, that's fine, because we're not going to like everything. But this bullying, and this, especially because nowadays with social media, it's kind of like, you know, it has gotten out of hand. And even for these artists that make music, even they have faced like the backlash of like people trolling them and all this drama and stuff like that. They should be known for their music and nothing else. Also, I feel like that's another thing I noticed too, where it's kind of like, I think that we get like the music platforms on television shows like 106 and Park, TRL, Soul Train Awards. If we get those music platforms like these television shows back on the map, where these artists can really like, you know, showcase their talent, and then the fans, interact with the fans, make sure that the fans are able to interact with these artists, and we can really like it will really serve a really good purpose, because even some of the reality shows, like even some artists that really came in, and like I said, I know like they use the reality TV platform like to make the music, to like get people to know their music, like K. Michelle, Remy Ma, Cardi B. That was cool. But unfortunately for the rest of these artists, it didn't work in their favor. And I feel like we need to have a balance. But let me tell you something. Reality TV, I watch a little bit of it. I peep into it, drama and all that stuff. But I have seen even the artists that had the real talent, like the people that I've named, that they use that platform to help people know their music and really, you know, support them and buy the music. But like I said, I feel like reality TV isn't for everybody, especially when you want to make it in music. Especially for artists that need to make it in music. And I've done research, I've read articles, like artists, like how can they be successful artists and really have longevity and really do it forever, because really it's like the right connections, the right resources, and also like knowing your worth as an artist and being able to like, okay, especially nowadays, because I notice that people, they love to say, well, you know, these artists don't have it factor. Well, my thing is, I feel like the it factor is really biased in ways, because really it should be talent.
see, the it factor is kind of like people, they'll say, well, this artist doesn't have the it factor. I'm like, okay, what it factor are you talking about? Be specific. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, well, this artist don't really have the it factor. The it factor to them, I guess, maybe is, well, they don't have the look or the image, or their music ain't like how mainstream music is. So I understand that, but I feel like your talent should speak for itself. Your talent should always speak for itself. Your work ethic, your talent, and what you bring to the table should always speak for itself. And with that being said, it's like the way how I see it nowadays, like when I see artists like Chloe and Halle. Chloe and Halle are talented. Period. Chloe and Halle are talented. Because right now, Chloe and Halle are basically like, you know, one of these up and coming like girl groups and black artists that really we don't get to see any of them. We don't really get to see them, many of them, often as we should. But that's why I'm so glad Beyonce took them under her wing, mentored them, and really allowed them to have the creative space. And also, like I said, of course, you know, people, they do help people to get where they need to go, which is great, as long as it's like good help. But with that being said, I feel like people really want to see these artists do well and win and be successful. People are going to have to buy and save up and buy the music. Because really, I think that social media has kind of taken over too much to the point where it's kind of like people think that's the only way for these artists to be successful. Or this is the only way, especially it's the only way for these artists to like get their music to be supported. It's just only through social media. No, you got to buy the music. CDs are still relevant. So when an artist puts out an album, you say you're a fan, save up, buy the album, save up, buy the music. Because really, the music should be bought. Just like everybody else, you know, they support their faves and their favorite artists. The music should be bought. Because we can't just rely on just social media. We gotta rely on like the money that we earn and work for, and then spend the CDs. The CDs are pretty much the like we should rely on, because that the CDs, these artists, they make CDs, okay? They ain't making CDs for no fucking reason. Excuse me for my cursing, but you know, they're making music because, you know, it's the art, they have passion, and they want their music to be heard. So for people that say, well, we want these artists' music to be heard, you're going to have to buy the albums too. You're going to have to buy the CDs. You're going to have to iTunes. I know people love iTunes, streaming and all that. Just don't rely on just streaming. Don't just rely on just iTunes. Buy the physical copies, because that way these artists can get more exposure. And I like that, you know, like I said, you know, listen to other people's opinions about music. And, you know, people, from what I'm seeing so far, people really do want like that nostalgia to be brought back, how they were growing up. Same thing like different generations, you know. And it's like, you know, different, each generation, their favorite artist that they grew up with is no different from this generation. But what I'm saying is that, you know, we got to get back to supporting these artists. We got to get back to like, you know, putting in the work just to buy the music, you know, because really I feel like things have changed, but I know things can be better, because it's boring. You know, really it's boring, and a lot of things are going on in the world and it's craziness, but I just pray for the best and I just hope for the best, because like I said, we cannot lose faith. We got to still have faith. And I think that, you know, as like a music consumer, you know, I've really, like I said, you know, stood back and said, yeah, I remember I grew up listening to this artist and that artist, how these artists, like, they were so underrated. Even the ones that I've supported throughout years, you know, still underrated, but they've always made good music. You know, they've always made some good music. They've always put in the work. But I know that, you know, I saw how like people even making videos about like, oh yeah, you know, those like these artists are underrated, but they always have made good music. And then like some haters, you know, crickets, you know, they've always been like, oh well, because this art like try to act like these artists didn't have didn't have like hits when they did. See, and this is one thing which is really funny because, like I said, artists, they come and go. Artists, like I said, and what I mean by that, I don't mean it like in a rude, disrespectful way. I don't mean it like to be shady, because I don't shade people. But just like even artists that like, you know, really made a contribution in music, and some people or some critics didn't want to give them a chance, or always overlook them, or always like try to always like put them against other artists, where we should just enjoy the music. As long as that artist is talented, problematic, that's all that matters. You know, and I feel like the essence of music kind of went downhill, because really the underrated artists, they're the ones that really changed the game. Those the ones who really like put in the work, which is cool, because one day they will be successful, one day they will get the recognition that they deserve. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, seeing how, even that's why some artists that I grew up with, and I have some of their albums, and like even some of the artists that I did grow up with and I don't have their albums yet, I'm gonna save up and get like their albums, because like that era of music, especially in the early 2000s, I was like in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, and it was a lot of great talent, a lot of great different variety of artists. I mean, especially talented black artists. I mean, they were really bringing it. They were really like experimenting with their music, and it was more like they could win. Like all of them can win. Like all of them like can be successful. It wasn't just like how nowadays, like now it's like, oh, well, only 1 or 2 and 3 can make it. No, because back then people really did appreciate music, you know, and people really like, they bought music. I remember people, some artists back down memory lane, Minnie Riperton style, everybody went crazy. Now I'm gonna tell you something, everybody went crazy. I tell you what, and I'm gonna say especially for the male R&B artists and the male hip hop artists, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I hate how like artists before, it was so huge, and then years later people aren't checking for them no more. And I know, like I said, the music industry is tough, it's challenging, there's a lot of things going on. I remember when I was little, okay, Bow Wow. Now listen, I'm not going to shade Bow Wow. Now there's some things I may not like, I disagree, but I will say this, Bow Wow, before he was Lil Bow Wow, and I was a huge Lil Bow Wow fan, you can't tell me nothing. I used to love Mr. Shaq Moss, you know, because he's one of these artists like that I feel like is underrated to this day, and some people don't want to give him credit where it's due. And listen, besides all like the drama and stuff, and even I have my own opinions about him nowadays, but I will keep it civil, I will keep it respectful. I mean, he made a contribution in music, in hip hop and R&B music, because like when he came out, like as a young fresh talent in like hip hop, I mean his talents as a rapper and his wordplay, his bars, like everybody, most of the girls and females, they love Lil Bow Wow. Like Bow Wow was popping. I remember in school everybody was going like crazy over Bow Wow. And also even Lil Romeo, same thing, Lil Romeo, and even like I said, you know, the little feud and stuff. But it was one of these, like, it was kind of like great to see more artists and music really, you know, take the world by storm. But that's why I feel like artists that really, I feel like they did their thing, very underrated, you know, and I still do hear influences, like especially like how Bow Wow's career was like, I mean, he was soaring, don't get it twisted. I mean, Bow Wow had a really good career. I mean, he had a really good run. And I'm not saying throw shade at him, but I wish that he would still be able, like, even with the new generation coming in, right, he would still maintain like a balance of his music. But he also, like I said, he branded himself. He acted in movies and films, so he did his thing in that too, and even in the fashion world too. But I feel like I hate that whatever was going on, like, you know, he's a human being too, and I know that, like, he went left, you know what I'm saying, and we haven't really heard from him for a couple of years, really for years, until growing up hip-hop Atlanta. So, and I feel like, in my opinion, this is my humble opinion, I feel like Bow Wow don't get enough flowers. I feel like Bow Wow don't really get enough, like, recognition nowadays. And listen, I know the drama, I mean, past the side drama, but I feel like just reflecting back on his career, perfect example. I mean, he was an artist, he was really hot, you know, at one point, and then, like I said, you know, things changed. But I feel like one thing people can't say about Bow Wow can spit. I mean, as a rapper, he got punchlines, he can spit. But I feel like, you know, now, you know, I wish that he would, you know, still make music and still put out albums. But see, that's the thing, it's kind of like, you just never know. Some people, they had to run for their money in music, and then we don't hear from them no more. But still, their contribution in music still is relevant. Which, like I said, some people, they try to act like, well, because an artist isn't as relevant as they were before, that, oh, we should just move on and don't, you know, care for them. No. But I feel like, yeah, Bow Wow. And speaking of, like, even male hip-hop and R&B, like, okay, we even got, like, these new rappers, like, people love, like, what, Migos, The Baby, Lil Uzi, and all of them. Now for me, I don't really like their music like that, but you see how, like, every generation will have their own rappers, will have their own people coming up. But see, the thing is, I feel like when it comes to, like, rap and hip hop, I should make another video, because that would be very interesting. People are just missing, like, that, like, the sound of hip hop, like wordplay, delivery, a little bit of everything. But we still have, like, talented rappers that give, like, all of that. Same thing like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Logic, who else? It's a whole bunch of them too. Oh, Big Sean. So yeah, so I feel like listening to, you know, people's, like, different opinions of music is cool with me. But see, that's why I feel like now, you know, I see, like, new artists coming in, taking the world by storm, and really, like, not being afraid to, like, create something different with their music, you know, and don't be afraid to, like, you know, a vision, like I said, you gotta know your vision. Like, not everyone will follow your, you know, vision, or not everyone will believe me, but as long as you believe in yourself, you can be unstoppable. Because one thing I've noticed too, and I'm going to call it out, and I will call out some BS when I will have to, I feel like it's kind of like, even with some of these artists now who are underrated, like how some people, they want to see, like, some artists, like, really win, because I noticed that, okay, cool, it's like, you know, I hope that in the next couple of months things change, and it's going to take time in the future too. Another artist that I want to see win too is Normani. Y'all know I'm a Normani fan. There's no need for an introduction. But see, and here's the thing with Normani too, because with her music, people have tried to put her in the box. Now, I'm excited for her debut album. I think that Normani, like I said, she's taking her time with her debut album, and I think that, you know, with her sound, I'm really excited for her, because no matter what people say about Normani, you know, she has her critics, she has her haters, okay? But instead of people just let these artists be themselves and express themselves. And even what she said she's not going to be put in the box. Sis said, yo, you can say whatever, I am not going to be put in the box. And rightfully so, because I think, especially as a young black female artist making music, And like I said, you know, she pretty much has so far has done well. But see, the thing is, there's a catch too, because I feel like a lot of things has been going on too with her and in the music business, and I'm not going, like I said, going that back down memory lane, mini return style. But I feel like with her, I believe in her. I mean, so far, her music has been pretty good. We know Waves, Motivation, Checklist, Slow Down, Diamonds, pretty much so far. But see, the thing is with her next single, because I'm telling you, a lot of stuff has happened. You know, the coronavirus and like the protests, police brutality, all that. And Normani has spoken out about some things too. She has spoken out about the protests and Black Lives Matter, and you know, she says a lot of things. Her 2 cents. So I shout out to her. I got respect for her and love her. So that's what's up. Cause like I said, we already know what she went through. We already know what Miss Normani Craig went through. So yeah, she can relate. But I like that Normani basically, like I said, you know, she's pushing through. You know, she got in her, so that's the thing. Because I like that Normani, with her being able to be the next like black artist that can really change the game of music. She's already, I mean, well, I'll say this. She has achieved success, but I want for her to continue to have success in her solo career, because I feel like she's on her way. But my issue is her management. So as long as they find a way for her to stay consistent, put out her music, promote her music, she should be fine. And it is expected for her to release her debut album this year, because I feel like Normani has been long overdue. And really, with her sound, she has the best of both worlds. She has R&B, she has pop, she has alternative, she has nostalgia, she has rock and roll. She has a little bit of rock and roll too, influences too, because Normani can really change the face of music for herself and really pave the way for future artists, and the same way like artists like Janet Jackson paved the way for her. And Normani, you know, she did a homage to Janet Jackson, so of course we already know Janet Jackson, Queen of Pop. But that's the thing, it's kind of like generation after generation, you know, so we gotta let these new artists be themselves, and we have to just allow them to like do their thing music. Because really, I'm just over, you know, and I even talk about these topics too, but I'm not trying to be like no negative Nancy. I'm not trying to be like, you know, no Krabby Patty. I'm not trying to be like, no, I ain't. But I kind of find it, like I said, it's like it's going to take time for things to change. So we have to be patient, you know. But it's kind of like, even people, when people have said like how, why are we so hard on like black artists and black female artists and black male artists, instead of just letting them find their sound. And you know, we can't expect for them to create the music that came out 10 years ago. What I mean by that, because I've talked to some people on social media, and even like the people I talk to on social media, and even the conversations that we've had about music, some of them have said like, even like some of like the older generation of like artists, well, the older generation of people who grew up with R&B music, hip-hop music, and whatever kind of genre, these new artists get like so much hate and so much bias, and even when they put out really good music, but some people in their mind, you know, they feel like the music isn't what they grew up with, or the music isn't like what they were used to listening to. But I feel like as long as the music's good, as long as the music has quality, as long as the music is diverse and there's versatility and the content has a lot of wide range of topics, hey, that's it. Because with that, you know, these new, because really this is a new generation of artists that, like I said, they've been inspired by the art that came before them, and of course, so it's like passed down generation after generation. It's a circle of life. So instead of us just being so overcritical, especially when people like say, well, you know, they're not, like, this artist is not doing enough R&B music, or we need to support R&B music. But see, some of the people say the same thing. Don't even buy music. Cause I have bought some really dope like R&B music that came out like last year and the other year before that. I would say I bought like Mariah Carey, Caution. I love Mariah Carey. I'm a huge fan. What's the last album I bought last year? Some other albums I bought, but especially Mariah Carey's album that she put out last year. I think it was 2 years. No, that album came out 2 years ago. Mariah Carey, that Caution album, it still bumps. It still slays because Mariah Carey is another legend, another icon, pioneer in music, where it's like her sound, her artistry, you know, she really stepped it up with her music. Brandy. Now her last album came out years ago. This album called 211. I love Brandy. I saw Brandy in concert. I'm a Stars fan for life. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like some people complain about R&B artists not getting enough support, but we gotta buy the music more, because if we buy the music more, the more they'll get more, you know, support, you know, mainstream, and even mainstream will give them an opportunity, give them the chance to like showcase their music and promote their music. And also, I've noticed too, even with mainstream went a little bit downhill too over the years, because it's kind of like before, really, you know, your talent spoke for itself, and especially most of the radio stations, they play like R&B, hip hop, contemporary music. But now I've noticed like the radio stations, they're playing more like the same old like mumble rap trap music, you know. And I feel like they just need to spice it up. They just need to support other artists too, so we can be more of a balance. Yeah, because I really feel like now it's really up to the fans. The reason why I say it's up to the fans too is because the fans are gonna have to buy the music, you know. And I try, like I said, I try not to get into no arguments and no debates. I try to keep it civil. There are some, like, there will be some moments where, you know, like I said, I say what's on my mind bluntly, but I kind of feel like, you know, right now in this day and age of music, you know, it's kind of like, you know, we just gotta be patient, just buy the music, you know. And that's all that matters. And all that drama, and I have seen like how other YouTubers, they was like, you know what, I love the music, I love the direction of what the music's going for, but it seems like all the drama is overshadowing the music. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right, because really it's kind of like the drama and all that stupid stuff. It's like we can't just have a moment to enjoy the music. We can't have it like it'll be some BS following up, it'll be some BS going on, but we have to also, I feel like as bloggers, we do have the power to change the narrative too. We have the power to promote more positivity. And listen, I do on this channel, like I said, I have covered on some things that, like I said, some drama stuff, but not on this channel. I mean, not as much, barely. I try to keep it like, you know, balanced. You know, I do mostly more on like music reviews, album reviews, movie reviews, you know, rants, you know, thoughts and opinions. Here and there I might cover like a drama topic, a drama subject, but not as much, because my thing is, I feel like music and arts, I feel like music and art should be like, you know, the center of attention. I feel like that's the most important thing, because that way as bloggers, you know, we don't have to like always cover on like drama, or always cover on like, like, don't get twisted. Like, now important stuff, that's cool, like speaking out against, like, just like people are speaking out about like they're speaking out on like police brutality. They're talking about the protests. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm here for like freedom of speech. It's all good. And like I said, I've done it too. But the thing is too, when I'm talking about like that drama, I'm talking about like that real negative, real gossip stuff. And listen, I'm not putting down nobody that, talk about gossip and drama. That's your channel, do you. I'm just saying, like, just have a balance, and that's cool, because having a balance, it creates more like a versatility. And even, like I said, for me, I try to see both perspectives, and even I have my own opinion. Even at the end of the day, even though I have my own opinion based on what I see, at the end of the day, everyone has the freedom to express themselves. Everyone has the freedom, like, to say what's on their mind. Same thing with me. So it's really cool that, like, so far so good in music, what I've heard so far. I kind of feel like, yeah, it's getting better. I'm seeing more artists, like, really, like, taking the world by storm with their music. I also think that even when we talk about real talent, and like gimmicks. Now listen, and this is my honest opinion, I feel like we should just support, or not just support. My thing is, we need to support more talented artists, period. We need to support more talented artists, no matter what genre of music they make, because I love all kinds of music. I love, like, pop, rock, country, jazz, folk, acoustic. So with that being said, I love supporting, like, different kinds of music, different kinds of artists, because really I get bored nowadays of who to listen to. And even I've asked people to, like, can you guys recommend who to listen to, who to, like, who to get into music. I'm definitely going to be listening to, like, other albums, and I will give, like, album reviews too, because I love, giving other artists a chance. So far, new artists, like pop music. Dua Lipa, I love her new album. I need to get that album, because that album she put out, her new sophomore album, is really good. Because pop music, I love pop music too. I'm a pop music fanatic. Lady Gaga, I just did a review of Chromatica. Lady Gaga did a damn thing on this album. I was like, okay, Lady Gaga, okay, I see you coming through with, like, that pop music. And and I've always loved Lady Gaga. She's a perfect example of, like, a student of the game too, because she really, when she came out years ago, I was in high school, and she brought something really different and unique with her music. And she brought back, like, the essence of pop music back, like that pop, rock, alternative, and she really changed, like, she shifted a new generation too, because her fans have been, like, supporting her since day one. Her Little Monsters, that's the name of her fan base. So it's kind of like seeing how, she was able to really, like, connect with her fans, to connect with the audience, and really take the world by storm with her music. And she has had pushed through with longevity, and she really slayed. She's been, she has been doing a damn thing, and I really like that. Her new album is getting, like, support. It's getting, reviews. And here's the thing, artists, like I said, when artists start off, like, as hot, during their time, and everyone has a streak. What I'm saying? Everyone. You be hot, and then years later, I mean, your popularity is going to fade out, over time, but that don't mean, like, you're a has-been or you're irrelevant. That's stupid shit, and I'm telling you, that's another topic. That's just another topic I'm going to talk about, and I don't care who gets mad to get their feathers ruffled, because these fans and stands get on my damn nerves, because it's like, listen, no different from your favorite artists. One of these days, your favorite artists, they run. I mean, and they'll still continue to, like, inspire new artists and all that. But it's like, this is why, especially with stan culture, and even with some people, like stan culture and fan culture, where it was like some of these ignorant fans, they have this thing where it's always about their faith. It's always about their faith. No, not everything is about your faith. Other artists, they make good music. Just because your favorite artist is more popular or more successful, that's equate like, well, my fave is untouchable. I don't really like that kind of shit. I don't really think it's untouchable. I just feel like they are blessed just like everyone else, because not everyone, despite their circumstances, have the ability to like cross over to the mainstream, or have the ability to like connect with like another, like, you know, to cross over to like mainstream music, or, you know, because like I said, I've said some things that, some factors that you know, like you know, issues that artists face. And listen, you know, just support the music, buy the music. Also check out other artists' music, and if you check out their music, if you like it, cool. If you don't, fine. And not everyone's gonna be your cup of tea. It's the same thing with me. But I don't be going out and bashing people. I don't be bullying people. I don't do that crazy, stupid, demonic shit, because I ain't got time for that. And plus, that's not what I do. But other than that, I feel like, you know, it's really good to, you know, listen to like different sounds and different artists, because I feel like now it's steadily getting back to the music now. It's steadily getting back to music. But the only thing, well, there's a few things that I want back. I want One System Park to come back. I want TRL to come back, and I want Soul Train to come back. I want these music platforms to come back, or there should be new music platforms to be created in the meanwhile from the ground up as underground music platforms, and get like the chance of like the support, you know, and like all of that. Because see, that's why what happened years ago, because especially like One System Park got canceled, well, really got ended, I think it was in 2014. So that music platform, like especially in like black music and culture and like everything, that music platform on television really helped a lot of artists, especially talented black artists, to really, you know, showcase their music. And really, like, you know, it's like everything went downhill, you know, and it's not really fun no more. It's really not. I mean, I get bored. There's no excitement. I mean, there is some excitement here and there, but it's like not as much. And I feel like even with today's like social media, it is good in some ways, but I know it can be better. And like I said, any suggestions that people, please let me know down below. What are other suggestions that would you like for you know, artists in music, like talented artists in music, to get their music heard? What do you guys recommend? Let me know down below. And you know, any artists that you feel are underrated that should get the support more, should get more exposure, please let me know down below, because I want to hear your thoughts and I want to hear your opinions. And you know, like I said, you know, have dialogue, because you know, it's like I'm starting to see, you know, how things have changed in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years. So for me, it's kind of like right now, you know, it's 2020. So this is where music is at right now. So that's, hey, I understand that, that's what's up, but I really want more talented artists to come through. Even the breakout artists, two other artists like Ella May, her, who else? Megan Thee Stallion, that's another one. Who else? Doja Cat. And man, you know, and also the male artists, we need to see more male artists coming in. But here's the thing that I've noticed too, and I always have said, because I'm a huge fan of R&B boy bands. Okay, Next Town Down, I love Next Town Down. Please check out their music. I need to see more R&B boy bands come back, and I need to see more R&B male solo artists come back. Because really now it's just, like I said, I know like the ones that came out, like Usher, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, who else? Miguel, Luke James, Omarion, they're still doing the damn thing in music. But I also want to see more like R&B male artists doing their thing. And male, like I said, even R&B boy bands too, because it would be great to see like more of them come in the game. And I'm missing. What I'm actually missing today's music, I'm missing more of like that showmanship, and not only the showmanship, but just like the authentic, and that really raw talent. But for the ones who have it, like I said, the ones that I have explained, it's like we need to see more of them. We really do. And for black artists, like I said, people that really want to see black artists really, win and thrive, it's up to us to buy the music. We can't just complain 24/7 on social media or 24/7, like, it's okay to express ourselves, it's okay, like, but we also got to put in the work too. Actions speak louder than words. Because, like I said, I buy music, I still buy music. I had bought a new album of Lena Barres. It was Divine. I love that album. I'm a fan of hers. She's a really dope artist too. So yeah, so like I said, any artist that you like, just support them, buy their music, and that's the way to go. And just enjoy music. I miss the days when people just enjoy music. Like all this stuff about like this drama and like Billboard. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about Billboard. Really, it is what it is. I hate what's going on, but Billboard has been shady for years too. Billboard and like even these award shows, same thing like the Grammys. I love the BET Awards. That's my favorite award show, the BET Awards, especially when talented black artists get recognized for their gifts in music. So yeah, and also speaking of BET Awards, the BET Awards, they're going to do like a live stream quarantine style, because there's not going to be an award show where people are going to be showing up to the red carpet and stuff, because this whole corona thing done hit. So I had read up that the BET Awards will do like live stream, and they're going to do something different, which is dope, because like I said, people that do support BET and do support the BET Awards, I grew up with the BET Awards. We've had the memorable performances. I mean, the top of the line, like everything. So with that being said, I really want to see things change, but it's going to change gradually. So it's all good. But yeah. So guys, let me know down below how you guys feel. What are your thoughts about just supporting the talented black artists in music? Who would you like to see get more shine? Who would you, like I said, who are your recommendations? And let me know down below. Let's have a conversation. So yeah, so that's all I have to say. I'm finished with this rant. I'm done. An hour and 20 some minutes. I had to get everything off my chest. But yeah, so I'm about to sign out. So as always, guys, please not be afraid to like, share, comment, subscribe down below. Please not be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Please not be afraid to hit that notification button. And as always, stay tuned on the next episode of Gibson's 92 Dragon Ball Z Narrative Reference. Peace. Bye-bye. Good exiting out. This Super Saiyan is out.